Imagine spending thousands on a luxurious getaway, only to find yourself stranded on a desolate island with nothing but chaos. Welcome to the infamous Fyre Festival, the ultimate dream turned nightmare. In this video, we'll uncover the masterminds behind this disaster, the influencers who sold the fantasy, and the aftermath that led to lawsuits and investigations. Buckle up, it's a wild ride. Scheduled for April 28th to 30th and May 5th to 7th, 2017, on Great Exuma, the festival was hyped to be the epitome of luxury. Influencers like Kendall Jenner, Bella Hadid, Hailey Baldwin, and Emily Ratajkowski flooded Instagram with glamorous posts, luring thousands into the fantasy, many not disclosing they were paid to do so. However, as the first weekend approached, the facade began to crumble. Attendees expecting gourmet meals and lavish villas were instead greeted with sad packaged sandwiches and FEMA disaster relief tents. Security was inadequate, medical services were scarce, and the entire setup was in disarray. The festival was postponed indefinitely and ultimately canceled, leaving a trail of angry attendees and a slew of lawsuits in its wake. We're going to be digging deep into who orchestrated this catastrophe, the high-profile promotions that fueled the hype, and the fallout that led to multiple investigations and legal battles. The planning and organizing behind Fyre Festival was as ambitious as it was flawed, orchestrated primarily by Billy McFarlane and rapper Ja Rule. The festival was intended to promote the Fyre music booking app, but it quickly turned into a textbook example of how not to execute an event. The concept for the festival emerged during a flight to the Bahamas, when McFarlane and Ja Rule's private plane landed on Norman's Cay, a sparsely populated island that had once belonged to Carlos Later Rivas of the Medellin cartel. McFarlane leased the island, with a strict condition from the owners not to mention Pablo Escobar, the infamous cartel leader, in any promotional materials. Ignoring this condition, McFarlane shot promotional footage with supermodels on Norman's Cay and falsely advertised the island as Escobar's former property. This led to the owners canceling their arrangement, forcing McFarlane to find a new venue with only 4 months before the festival's start date. After several failed attempts to secure other small islands, McFarlane received a permit from the Bahamian government to use a site at Roker Point on Great Exuma, an abandoned resort development which was far from the private island experience he had promised. The promotional campaign for Fyre Festival was launched on December 12, 2016, with influencers like Kendall Jenner, Emily Ratajkowski, Bella Hadid, and others posting a teaser video on Instagram. The video featured models frolicking on a tropical beach, promising an immersive music festival on the boundaries of the impossible. This campaign created a massive buzz, selling thousands of tickets ranging from $500 for day passes to $12,000 for VIP packages, including airfare and luxury accommodations. However, behind the scenes, the organizers faced mounting challenges. McFarlane, who had a history of over-promising and under-delivering in his previous ventures, approached experienced event planning companies and was shocked to learn that staging an event of this magnitude would cost at least $50 million and require a year of preparation. Undeterred, McFarlane and his team, with no experience in such large-scale event planning, continued to push forward. They even resorted to Googling how to rent stages and other necessary equipment. As the festival date approached, the logistical issues became insurmountable. With only 2 months left, the organizers had to settle for a remote parking lot north of a sandals resort on Great Exuma, not the private island paradise they had marketed. Despite this, McFarlane continued to promote the falsehood that the festival would take place on Pablo Escobar's private island. In reality, the site lacked infrastructure, and the team had to hastily scatter sand over rocks and build makeshift cabanas. Financial problems compounded the logistical nightmare. McFarlane secured a $4 million loan from investor Carola Jane, most of which was used to rent luxurious offices in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood rather than to fund the festival. As costs spiraled out of control, the organizers slashed expenses, including the $10 million initially allocated for luxury villas, and resorted to disaster relief tents. The promised gourmet meals were replaced by a budget of $1 million for basic catering, a drastic reduction from the original $6 million plan. In March 2017, veteran event producer Yaron Lavi was hired, but he quickly realized the impossibility of staging the envisioned event in the given time. He advised Fyre to be transparent with ticket holders about the accommodation downgrade to tents, but it's unclear if such communication ever occurred. Despite these mounting issues, McFarlane and his team pressed on. They informed attendees that the festival would be cashless, encouraging them to load thousands of dollars onto RFID Fyre bands linked to their credit cards. This desperate move aimed to raise quick cash, but it only added to the festival's impending failure. The final days leading up to the festival were chaotic. Heavy rain on April 27th soaked the tents and mattresses, leaving the site in shambles. Initial arrivals were taken to a beach party to keep them occupied while frantic preparations continued. Later arrivals were brought directly to the festival grounds, where the stark reality became evident. Accommodations were inadequate, food was substandard, and there was a severe lack of basic amenities. On April 28th, the first day of the festival, Blink-182 announced their withdrawal, and the event quickly unraveled. Attendees, unable to leave due to fully booked hotels on the island for the All, were stranded in a nightmarish scenario. The festival was eventually postponed, and attendees were flown back to Miami, but not before enduring hours of chaos and discomfort. The aftermath of Fyre Festival was severe, with multiple lawsuits, investigations, and significant financial losses. McFarlane and Ja Rule faced immense backlash for their roles in the debacle. The story of Fyre Festival stands as a cautionary tale of ambition, deceit, and the catastrophic consequences of poor planning. The aftermath of Fyre Festival was a chaotic and legally tangled mess. Following the festival's disastrous debut, a statement was posted on the official website acknowledging the failure to deliver on their promises due to circumstances out of our control. They assured attendees that efforts were being made to get everyone safely off the island, postponing the festival until further notice. Ja Rule co-organizer took to Twitter to apologize, insisting it was not a scam, and taking responsibility despite claiming it was not his fault. The chaos at the festival was likened to Lord of the Flies and The Hunger Games by many news outlets. The Bahamian Ministry of Tourism apologized on behalf of the nation, distancing itself from the event's failure. Workers who helped construct the site and provided meals were left unpaid, leading the restaurant owner to seek help through GoFundMe. In an attempt to mitigate the fallout, Fyre Festival offered attendees a choice between a full refund or VIP tickets to a future festival, which, unsurprisingly, never happened. The legal repercussions were swift and severe. Billy McFarlane and Ja Rule were hit with a $100 million lawsuit filed in California on behalf of over 150 plaintiffs. This lawsuit, which initially included Ja Rule, accused the organizers of fraud, breach of contract, and negligent misrepresentation. Although Ja Rule was eventually dismissed from this lawsuit in July 2019, McFarlane faced multiple other legal battles. A second class action lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles, accusing the festival organizers of paying over 400 social media personalities and celebrities to promote the event without disclosing they were paid. This suit, like others, alleged fraud and breach of contract, but was later dismissed. In New York, another lawsuit accused McFarlane, Ja Rule and other organizers of false representations, negligence, and consumer protection violations. This suit was also dismissed in November 2019, though it left room to repeal certain allegations against Ja Rule. National Event Services, which provided medical services at the festival, filed a suit claiming $250,000 in damages due to breach of contract and negligence, highlighting the lack of adequate medical facilities and support. More lawsuits followed. Andrew Petroziello filed in New Jersey federal court, alleging violations of the state's Consumer Fraud Act and breach of contract. Kenneth and Emily Reel filed a class action suit in Florida, accusing the organizers of sending cease and desist letters to critics. Another class action suit in Manhattan on behalf of Sean Daly and Edward Ivy claimed unjust enrichment and continued VIP upgrade offers even after the festival was canceled. A final lawsuit was filed in Boston by ticketing vendor Table List, seeking $3.5 million to refund customers and claiming fraud and breach of contract. In July 2018, 2 attendees from North Carolina were awarded $5 million in damages against McFarland. Ja Rule, initially named, was removed after an undisclosed settlement. Ja Rule later claimed he had also been defrauded by McFarland. Criminal investigations ensued. On May 21, 2017, the New York Times reported that McFarland and his associates were under federal investigation for mail fraud, wire fraud, and securities fraud. McFarland was arrested on June 30, 2017, and later pled guilty, receiving a 6-year prison sentence and being ordered to forfeit $26 million. In 2018, the SEC charged McFarland and his associates with an extensive offering fraud that raised $27.4 million. McFarland admitted to the charges and agreed to significant penalties. To compensate some of those affected, a crowdfunding campaign in 2019 raised over $200,000 for the unpaid caterer. In August 2020, the U.S. Marshals auctioned Fyre Festival branded merchandise, with proceeds going to the victims. The Fyre Festival fiasco has since been chronicled in 2 documentary films released in 2019, highlighting the festival's extraordinary rise and spectacular fall. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the rise and fall of the Fyre Festival, from ambitious dreams to disastrous reality. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world's biggest scandals. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious.